Okay, for exercise 17, what we will be doing today is looking at a habitat suitability analysis for a generic species. In this exercise, we will be using terrestrial data from the state of Washington that defines land use, prey species range, elevation, and some proximity to roads, so a proximity analysis. Really, this is an objective maybe is to be considered is conducting this analysis for a lead scientist at a North Cascades National Park. So what we've already done is we've already gone through ArcCatalog and opened up a ArcInfo file and have converted it to a coverage file, which now resides in the data NCMP folder, and that is our prey dataset. So let's go directly to our ArcMap project and take a look at that. So here we have the range of prey species that our particular species of interest congregates around. We have elevation files that are on here, a land use polygon file, roads file, and the national park boundaries. So the first thing we want to do is we want to look at specific habitat that we already know our species likes, preferred habitat, which happens to be evergreen forests, and we want to look at that specifically. So if we look at our land use polygon, we see all our attributed features. Within that we have exposed rock, bare ground, forested wetlands, and then you'll see here this evergreen forested land or evergreen forest land. So we really just want to focus in on that. So let's go ahead and query that by using a query builder. So we right click, go to properties of our layer, click on the definition query tab, and then go ahead and start to build our query. So in this case, our description, as we see here, is listed as one of the field names, so we can go ahead and put that into our query. So description equals forested land, and you can either type that in or you can go here and get the unique values and select the definition there of the evergreen forest land. Go ahead and hit apply, and now we just have the evergreen forested land that we've defined in our query. Now we want to look at the prey species preferred habitat, and to determine the possible range within proximity of that, we'll use the buffer tool to create a 2-kilometer buffer around this prey layer, these polygons. So there's a couple of ways to do that. I've actually put a hot button here, but if you can't remember how to do buffers, you can always go back into our Arc toolbox and generate that. And that's under Analysis Tools and Proximity. You can double click on this, and that will bring up the buffer wizard. So let's go ahead and put in our layers. And there's a prey polygon. We wanted to use a distance of 2 kilometers or 2,000 meters. And our output file class we can put as prey buffer. How's that? Or prey buff. We'll go ahead and dump it into the same folder where the rest of our data is located. And then it takes about a second or two to finish that. We can go ahead and add that data from the same folder. And let's make this so there we go. So there's our 2 kilometer buffer. It's extended that polygon out 2 kilometers precisely around our original prey species defined habitat. Next thing we want to do is do a buffer for the roads layer, and we probably want to buffer that a little bit bigger at about 500 meters. Now, if we look at that file, what we'll notice is it's a very large file that encompasses a much broader area, in this case the state of Washington on the west coast of the United States. A much broader data set than what we are specifically interested in. So what we really want to do is we want to buffer the roads that are within our study area, not the entire data set. So what we should do first to maximize our efficiency on this is clip all of these out. So let's go ahead and do that. Going back to the ARC toolbox, we can go ahead and go under Analysis Tools. Under Extract, there's a clip. Our input features are the roads. What we're going to clip with is our study area. We can go ahead and put it right back into that. Let's go ahead into the same folder. Let's go ahead and process that. And then we can go ahead and add that new layer. And here we go. We have roads that have been clipped just to our study area. Now we can go back and do that 500 meter buffer that we originally wanted to do. I'm going to go here to my quick tool, which you can add if you so desire, or you can use it from your ARC toolbox. We're going to use the roads file that we just clipped. And we're going to use meters. Just showing you a couple different ways to do this. This is going to be 500. And in this case, we probably do want to dissolve our barriers so that we get one polygon that's an entire buffer for the roads as opposed to many polygons. So we'll put this in a place where we already have our data located. Along with all the rest, that'll be buffers of the roads, clip. And there we go. So let's put this maybe slightly bigger, and we'll put it on top so we can display that a little bit here. So there you go. You've got your roads. That might be too big. There we go. We have our roads, and we have our buffer that's associated with those roads.